Mhm. Well, we are live. There you go. I've just been caught out. I have been caught out. I went live. It said it didn't go live, so I decided to have a drink of fruit. So Hale's fruit, and I've been caught out. It went live. Welcome to the Geelong Zone, our first AFL video of the year, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. But here we are here to do. Damn it, coach, where you at? I'm here. To do our first AFL video, and I've done videos before. I did one last week, but this is an AFL type video, so we're here to do that. We're here to do my top 8. I'm not going to go through every single ladder position because we'll be here for hours debating and whatnot. So I've got my little banners here. I've got my Geelong scarf and shirt here ready to go. This is probably a worse day to wear this. Disclaimer, I'm not a Man City fan. I just collect the shirts. The balls on a Man City fan to wear this after yesterday's performance would be not be good. So I'm not a Man City fan. Okay, anyway, we'll get into the ladder. So my top 4. The first position for me, of course, will be Brisbane. I think they are. And once again, that fucking thing's on the top of the screen. Why is it not down the fucking bottom? Oh my God, I sorted this out fucking yesterday. Oh. It's so fucking annoying. You can't even see it. What the fuck? Before I went stage, I tested everything, and that was down the bottom. Language coach, sorry. Yeah, my mum's in the other room. She won't be happy. I'm so frustrated because I went backstage. That was on the bottom of the screen, right there, and you probably wouldn't even see it anyway because I'm wearing a blue shirt. And now it's on the top. But anyway, first we'll go along. First is Brisbane. They've basically got the same squad. They're still young. They're in their prime still, half of them. Probably questions over Lachie Neale. I think as long as Lachie Neale is playing, I don't think that's a football thing. I'm not going to get into that. But as long as he's still playing on the field, I still think he soaks up his 25, 30 disposals. Brisbane are a fortress to beat at home, very tough to beat. I think they will finish first on the ladder for me. First and second don't really matter because it's the same thing, really. So second on the ladder for me is the Gold Coast Suns. I think they will be the big movers. I think they will get better with CP, Christian Petrarca. A very good coach in Damien Hardwick. They've got nothing to go but up for me. So I think they'll be the biggest jumpers of 2026. They will finish second for me. Third for me will be the Hawthorn Hawks. All they need to do is take the next step. So they made the semi-final in 2024, and then they made the prelim in 2026. Can they go that one step further? Can they make the grand final? It all depends on Will Day. Will he be injury-free? Well, at this point in time, no. He suffered another injury. He'll be missing a couple of weeks of the season if he takes surgery. So probably a question mark with that. But Will Day, he's a Brownlow medal contender when he's playing and fit. He polls votes. So there's no doubt if they can get him fit, they will finish very high. They'll win a lot of games with him. Top 4 for me, I've got another big mover. I've got the Sydney Swans. Charlie Curnow edition, I believe he'll kick 80-plus goals. I know that's a big number, but the question with me with the Sydney Swans is, can they stay fit? And when I mean they, I mean particularly Warner, Gordon, Heaney, and Charlie Curnow, of course. We saw when Gordon actually came back at the back end of the season, Sydney were unstoppable. They actually beat Brisbane in Brisbane. So they won a lot of games in a row, Sydney. I think they won their last 6 out of 5. So they won the last 5 out of 6, sorry. That's a bit more better. They lost to Geelong. We actually played them out in the SCG. We actually bet them. Wasn't looking good after quarter time. But when they got Golden back, Edward Gordon, they looked a whole lot better. So can they stay fit would be the question for them. So that is basically the top 4. So Brisbane, Gold Coast for me would be the biggest movers. Hawthorn for me, if they can get day fit, and Sydney Swans if their core midfield can stay fit. And same with Charlie Curnow. Curnow won't fix all their problems. They won't fix all their problems, but their biggest weakness was a forward line. They're not going to get it done under Joe Amati. With all due respect, I know he kicked 10 goals once in a game. Can you believe that? He kicked 10 goals in a game once, Joe Amati. I think that was against the Crows at Adelaide Oval. But since then, they really need a forward. So maybe the midfield core of Gordon, Heaney, and Warner can put it down his throat. So there's the top 4. So this is 5 to 8. GWS for me, into the unknown with them. You know, they've got a very good coach, in my opinion, a coach that takes no nonsense, a very mongrel coach, if you want to call that, no disrespect. But is the message getting through? I thought they underachieved last year. They really should have bet Hawthorn in that elimination final up in Sydney. Hawthorn found a way. So is their message getting through? Are they sick of the coach? They've got a lot of talent on their list, and most of their better players are in their prime. So they're an unknown. They're an unknown for me. Hawthorn mid, not top 4 potential when they've got Will Day in there, and Joe Newcomb's a pretty good player. I'll go as far as this: if Will Day was playing in that prelim final, we wouldn't have bet them, in my opinion. So yeah, 5th GWS 6. I've got Adelaide Crows. I don't think they'll make top 4. I think teams started to work them out. Collingwood started to work them out. Hawthorn worked them out. That was really a shocking loss, to be honest. If you can't beat Collingwood, fine, but Hawthorn, they really should have won that game, to be honest, in that semi-final, to be honest. I'll have them 6. I think they'll win enough games at Adelaide Oval. That's a bit of a fortress over there. Only the really good teams beat Adelaide in Adelaide. No, I think they'll win enough games at Adelaide Oval. They've got a somewhat difficult draw, but I think they'll finish 6th. For me, my team Geelong Cats will finish 7th. For me, I think they won't finish top 4. Most of their better players have gotten older. We've just proved that Dangerfield cannot play back-to-back games when he's playing at that rate. And it's also hard to back up from a grand final. Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Port Adelaide. It took Port Adelaide 20 years to recover. Some say they still are recovering from that belting from Geelong. But it's very hard to get back when you lose a grand final. Footscray as well. They lost that grand final, haven't been back. So, yeah, it's very tough. But, again, this is probably the Geelong effect. They'll play enough games in Geelong. Still won't get the big teams in Geelong like Collingwood or Hawthorn or Carlton. If Scott's still watching, yes, I call Carlton a big team. But you haven't done anything since the 90s. When you bet Geelong. Still yet to play those in Academia Park. Yet the AFL told us to build our stadium and we will get bigger teams. Essendon is not a bigger team. 8th for me, this was really tough. I've got Collingwood. One thing I would love to see is Josh Dacos in the midfield. I would really love to see Josh and Nick in the midfield together. I don't think Collingwood will do that, but every time Josh goes in the midfield, my goodness, he's unbelievable. That fourth quarter game he had when he had like 15 touches and 2 goals was absolutely incredible. So I would love to see Josh Dacos in the midfield for me, alongside his brother Nick. It's a very aging list. In my opinion, if they don't win it this year, which I don't think they will, I don't think they will get close. I think that's it. They'll go into rebuild mode because you do not want to rebuild with Tasmania. So that's basically the top 8. So we'll go through it again. Brisbane, same squad, still young in their prime. Gold Coast Suns will get better with Christian Petrarca. Hawthorn taking the next step, translating that prelim into a grand final, which Collingwood did that. Collingwood lost to Sydney at the Sydney ground, and then they turned that into a grand final win. Sydney Swans with Charlie Curnow additions. Can they stay fit? Can their midfield stay fit? GWS, unknown team. Don't know what you're going to get with them. Is the message getting through? But I think they'll win enough games. Adelaide Crows, have teams work them out? The Adelaide Oval effect, they will win games. Geelong Cats, same thing. Geelong effect, the Cardinia Park effect, they'll win enough games up there. Hard to back up from a grand final. 8th, Collingwood, I'd like to see Josh Dacos in the midfield. Now, the wild card spots. Disclaimer, I don't really care about the wild card, to be honest. If Geelong finish 9th, well, then I don't watch them anymore. That for me is my season's done. I won't be watching that wild card game if Geelong are in it. And if Geelong lose, who cares? If Geelong wins, who cares? I won't be watching that wild card game. I think it's just nothing but a money grab game. I have the audacity to call it a finals game. But we will get into it. Wildcard spots 9th to 10th. You can throw 5 teams under this. Carlton for sure, Freo, St Kilda, Melbourne, Port Adelaide. All of these have a chance to play finals. If you said to me, pick 2 from those 4-5 teams you've picked, Carlton and probably St Kilda. I think St Kilda have done the most with their list, but you will be playing wild card and you will enjoy it. I won't. I hope not. No, Scott. I really hope not. I don't really want to enjoy that. But yeah, I think Carlton, St Kilda. If you had to, if you said to me which 2 clubs, good chance for Essendon to win their first finals game in almost 100 years, considering Andrew Dillon came out and said, yes, that will count as a finals. Absolute madness. But it is what it is. Now, the four bottom clubs, bottom 4, I've got Richmond, West Coast, North Melbourne, maybe even Essendon. I know I just mentioned Essendon for the wildcard spots. Wildcard is rubbish. Absolutely agree. So I should pin these comments. Sorry, Scott. Do apologise. I've got to learn. I've got to have a co-host on, Scott. So if you want to be co-hosting, you're more than welcome. So yeah, you'll be playing the wild card and you will enjoy it. Wild card round is rubbish, said Footy Burner 85. But yes, back to the bottom 4. Richmond, West Coast, North Melbourne. I don't see them improving, to be honest. Well, I see maybe West Coast improving, but North Melbourne under Alistair Clarkson, I think that ship has sailed. He either needs to improve that team or he's gone, in my opinion. Essendon, horrible list. They've got a captain, well, a former captain that didn't even want to be there. He should have been at Hawthorn, to be honest. So maybe Essendon, but you could probably throw Port Adelaide in there under Josh Carr, who's got rid of all his coaches and got Sandful coaches. It's basically a Sandful team. He came out a few weeks ago saying he wants Port Adelaide to wear the black and white jersey more times than not. Good luck with that one. I know he's pushing for Alberton Oval, Port Adelaide's training ground, to have a game at Gather Round in 2027. A big team. Good luck with that. We won't be playing there, that's for damn sure. If we can't get Carlton or Collingwood in Cardinia Park, I don't want to play Port Adelaide or bloody Alberton, that's for damn sure. So that won't be happening. But you never know. You never know. He's bringing back the glory days of Port Adelaide, the Port Magpies. Good luck with that with Collingwood. Now, you notice I've left out one team in this discussion. I've done this deliberately. The team I don't know about is Footscray / Western Bulldogs. We have to say both. We don't want to be politically incorrect. We don't want to be rogue, we don't want to be sued. So Footscray / Western Bulldogs. I don't know why they just don't go back to Footscray, another political incorrectness thing. Great midfield. They have a great forward line, average defence. Bad coach. Is the coach bad? He is a premiership winning coach after all, Luke Beveridge. But for me, with their list, they should be really doing better than where they are, to be honest. Like I said, they've got a great midfield, great forward line. They could make top 4. They could be mid-table, which they've been the last couple of years. Their problem is their defence. They have got really no defenders that really stick out. I don't think Luke Beveridge is a bad coach, but the way he goes on about his defence, he doesn't do anything about it. That is bad coaching for me. Bevo needs to step down, says Bussy Sniffer. Carlton Geelong belongs at the G for everyone to see. Well, you can have your home games at the MCG, but we'd like to play Carlton in Geelong. We actually did that, Scott, for a period of time. Maybe you're saying that because your record there wasn't so great. Funny enough, we played Hawthorn there once a couple of years ago, and they became good, and we don't get them anymore. Funny how that works out. Yes, to the team I don't know about, Footscray. I don't know. They've got the Bont. They've got Darcy, who's probably one of the best forwards in the league, if not top three. They've got very good small forwards in West. Wakeman, if he's on the park. So they've all round as good except defence, but Luke Beveridge, thinks there's no problem there. So yet stats say differently. And yeah, he made no changes in the off-season, no free agents I'm aware of. So that's the team for me that's always in the unknown. Sam Darcy, Coleman, you think? No, I think that's Charlie Curnow. I think Charlie Curnow will kick 80-plus goals. I think he'll go ballistic. And there's a lot of teams you can stat pad. There's a lot of teams you can stat pad these days, like Essendon, Richmond, West Coast, like Jeremy Cameron did. Jeremy Cameron shouldn't have been nowhere near what he got, but he stat padded against those bottom teams. So I'm sure Gordon, Heaney, who's the other one, Warner. I'm sure they'll stat pad him against those teams. Darcy, the goat, says Footy Burner. Kerno the crab. says Footy Burner. Bailey Smith, notorious stat. Now hang on. Now Scott, Bailey Smith, notorious stat padder. Yeah, well you can. Well, it didn't help him win the Brownlow, did it? It helped Cameron win the Norm Smith. And how did that go in the grand final day, Scott? All those stat padding from Cameron, really worked on grand final day, didn't it? Kerno going to do his knee before the bye. Well, he's been on the bike a lot, We saw him last year. Scotty is right. He is. We saw Charlie Curnow prepare for the Tour de France last year when he rid his bike to the Melbourne Cricket Ground from his house. So hopefully he's now focused on footy now that he's moved from Carlton. I don't know. Scotty is right. He is. There you go, Scott. More support for Scotty. Scotty is bang on. Thank you very much for that, Pussy Sniffer. Yes, that's regarding the Bailey Smith stat padding comment. Yeah, well, it didn't help him win a Brownlow. It didn't help Jeremy Cameron on grand final day, did it? But anyway, yes, that is my top 8/bottom 8 predictions. I'll take that off because we don't need that off. But so I'll go over it just quickly. So Brisbane first, Gold Coast second, Hawthorn third, fourth Sydney, fifth GWS, seventh Geelong Cats, sixth Adelaide, eighth Collingwood, though I'm not sure then. Wildcard spots, who really cares? Carlton, Freo, St Kilda, Melbourne, Port Adelaide. Put a blanket over 5 of those clubs. I don't know. Bottom 4, Richmond, West Coast, North Melbourne, Essendon, maybe even Port Adelaide, the way that Josh Carr wants to go with his team. And Footscray, the team that I don't know what you're going to get. It's impossible to predict. They've got good things, but their problem is their defence. And in today's game, you really need some defence. But anyway, we've got a couple of more questions. Coach, have you changed your mind about putting Holmes up for trade for Curnow? It wasn't exactly Max Holmes, it was Shannon Neal. and I haven't changed my mind about that one, no, because Shannon won't even kick 40 goals for the season. Max Holmes for me. Yes, Gotti. Can you calm down with the comments? I'm trying to give you all air hit time here. Yes, Gotti. Oh, I said that. Can't use the ball for shit pass. True. Well, he was better on grand final day than Max Holmes. My God, he was a turnover machine. How many senior games does Ollie Henry play this year, Coach? All of them. He should be playing all of them, Ollie Henry. You can't drop someone, that's kicked 4 goals in a prelim and then just drop him. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely stupid by the coach. That's why I'm Chris got out. And I make no apologies for that from the higher Geelong people on other YouTube shows. I make no apologies for that. You said that Max should have been literally traded. Yeah, I did say that he should have been traded. He had a terrible grand final. He couldn't kick to save his life. This is going to upset more Geelong people, but if I knew Will Day could play on the park, I would trade him for Will Day. Every day of the week, I wouldn't even think about that. That's going to really enrage the Geelong community, that. But Max Holmes had a very disappointing grand final. He was a turnover machine. Mind you, they were all pretty bad, especially after three-quarter time or half time. But he was terrible. He kicked 40 last season. He kicked 40 last season, mate. That's to Shannon Neal. I think he'll kick that as well. I don't think he'll kick 50 or 60. Footy Burner says Day is a fucking gun. Yes, when he can be on the park and be injury free. The last 2 years he can't. Warple is in our starting 22. I don't rate Warple at all, to be honest. I think that's a win for Hawthorn and getting him out of there. He's another turnover machine. That prelim final he played against us, he was terrible, to be honest. Horrible. I don't rate him at all. Sorry. Who's our best ball user in the midfield, Coach? Not really a midfielder per se, but if you're talking about hitting a target inside forward 50, Myers is one of our best, I think. Dangerfield is one of our best. If you're talking about all-round ball use, probably Tom Stewart. Down, but he's a defender, so yeah. That's in my opinion. That's probably going to enrage more people. Should Stengel forfeit his pay? Depending on the situation, Scott. If we've been down this road with Tenebruna before. If it's drug related and whatnot, then yes, absolutely. If it's something else going on, a family issue, then no. McKay, will kick more goals than Kerno. Well, he better kick more than 75 then, because that's what I think Kerno will kick. Atkins, factual opinion says Atkins is our best kick. He's our best tackler. That's for damn sure. But yeah, just on Scott's question with Tyson Stengel. I do wish him all the best and all well. But if there's a lot of reports saying no, it's drug related, he's got a family issue, stuff like that. I just don't understand. This is not to do with Tyson Stengel or other players that have done this. But you're earning a lot of money every single year. I don't know why you would want to turn to drugs. Again, not mentioning Tyson Stengel with this. This is just any player to use for recreation. I don't get it. We saw Bailey Smith with the white powder, the cocaine stuff. I don't get that either. You're getting paid a lot of money. A lot of money. Why you'd want to go down that path, I've got no idea. You've got friends, you've got a support network. And I have a zero tolerance on it. I've played against players when I played cricket that did that stuff. and I voiced my opinion on it very clearly. I just don't think this sport has any room for drug takers, whether it's recreational, performance, or getting a quick fix, whatever. I just don't think there should be a zero tolerance policy on that. But that's just my opinion on that one. Brad Close is rubbish, says footy burner. Brad Close. Yeah, the good thing about Brad Close is that his work rate is very, very high. So he makes a lot of tackles. He runs a lot. But yeah, he needs to be kicking more goals, to be honest, to be in that team. But because his work ethic is very high, Chris Scott keeps him in the team. So it's one of those situations where do you want to keep in a goal scorer, let's say Jack Martin, who kicks a lot of goals, but his press and pressure is pretty low? Or do you want someone that only kicks one goal every 3 games, but his press and his pressure is very high? So it's one of those 50-50 situations. Does Dangerfield retire in 2026? Oh, yeah, for sure. He should have retired last year. You see him at grand final after that prelim? He should have retired that day. He should have announced his retirement that day, because his body could not go. Yes, he got tagged by Starcevic. I get that, but he could not do a damn thing that day, Patrick Dangerfield. And I mentioned on your show, Scotty. I mentioned on your show. I think the Collingwood fan asked, I forgot his name, apologies up front. He asked me, will Dangerfield back it up? I said no. Turned out to be right on that one, didn't I? Because he was terrible. Not by skill level, but his body wouldn't go with him. So that's probably a lesson there. If Dangerfield, let's say if we do play in a prelim and Dangerfield had a blinder, maybe you drop him for the grand final because you know you're not going to get anything out of him the next week. And there's no sub ball either. That's gone. He was just basically a passenger in that game, to be honest, Patrick Dangerfield, tagged or not. Baz loves the nut. Yes, he loves the nose beers. Yes, he does. Hopefully not anymore. If Geelong lose opening round, Chris Scott should be fired on the spot. I'll wait. Well, I don't have them beating Gold Coast anyway. Good chance I'm actually going to that game, by the way, up in Gold Coast. But if I'm a betting man, which I am a little bit, I'll pick Gold Coast for that one. The next game they have Fremantle, and then they've got who have they got after Fremantle? I think they've got West Coast, another bottom team. No, they got West Coast at Gather Round. Sorry, whoever they got. So if they lose to Gold Coast and then they lose to Freo, that's 0-2. I think he should go if they lose to Freo. You should be beating Freo at home. It's one of those games where I would pencil in a win. But no, not for Gold Coast, because I think they'll lose that game because I've got Gold Coast in my top 2. It would not make sense if I said, oh yeah, Geelong will win that game. Yeah, I've got Gold Coast in my top 2. But if they lose to the Freo, that's at home, by the way. That's in Geelong. Yeah, I'm probably saying Chris Scott out. Goodbye. You know, you've done your service. You've won your 2 flags. Pick up your whiteboard and you can ship off. So true, says Scotty Tompkins. Like I said, Scotty, I need a co-host to sort out this. So if you want to put your hand up for that, that'd be great. If you want to come on the next show, please do. But anyway, I will wrap this up. This was not supposed to be a 30-minute video, but thank you all for the comments. Scott Bussy, Footy Burner, Factual Opinion. Really do love your support, guys. Shout out to Scott's channel, The Jumper Punch with Rocco, Beaucheck. I love those two guys. Very funny guys. Liam as well, the Richmond fan. And Mark. I had a lot of fun with Mark. Hopefully I can do that again in 2027, Scott. Me and Mark can go over finals wins. Not that Mark has anything to brag about the last 15 years. What happened to Man City last night? I mentioned this before. I'm not a City fan. I am wearing the City shirt. If you were a City fan and you have the audacity to wear this shirt today anywhere, then you deserve to leave the league title. I'm just a collector of football shirts. I think one of my videos a few weeks ago I wear the Borussia Dortmund yellow canary shirt. But I just collect the shirts. I'm a Real Madrid fan, so that's nothing to brag about either. We've sacked 10 managers in the last 2 years, Real Madrid, and we boo our players heavily, like we did yesterday when we booed Vinny Jr. and Bellingham off the pitch. But anyway, no, I'm a Real Madrid fan. But anyway, nice one. Liverpool here. Oh, Liverpool, geez, not a good. Tell you what, if you're a Liverpool fan, go subscribe to the Red Dawn TV. That is my good friend Kyri's show. It's Lenko. Sorry, Jezza. Kyri does all the Liverpool stuff. He's great at that. But that was a disappointing draw against Burnley. I'm sure I haven't seen that video yet, but I'm sure he went ballistic in that video. I'd be disappointed if he didn't, Kyri. But no. Thank you, everyone. 31-minute video. I was only hoping to do 10 minutes, but oh well. We're back, aren't we? Terrible, mate. Yes, terrible. Well, at least we won the Ashes. That's good. That was good enough. Arsenal forever. You shouldn't be talking. You couldn't beat Nottingham Forest. Every time Arsenal gets an opportunity to put it to bed, they bottle it. Every time. And Aston Villa, who have they got tomorrow? Everton. They can close the points to 4 points. So I wouldn't worry about City. I'd worry about Aston Villa, to be honest. Especially if you keep bottling these opportunities. Factual opinion. But anyway, bottle jobs. But anyway, thank you so much. I thank you for all the support, all the comments. I really do appreciate it. Go Villa. Aston Villa. They might do the Leicester. They might do the Leicester City. But anyway, I was actually I watch a lot of Goldbridge. I watch a lot of Troops, and when I said Leicester City, straight away I thought of Mo Leicester. So a comment people literally put and they get caught out. So for some reason I just thought of that. So I had to be careful with saying Leicester there. But anyway, or any kind of relation, any kind of comments with Adam Johnson with kids in it. Hopefully, I don't get any comments like that with Silvani, please. I don't want to be caught out. But anyway, I already got Tanner Bruno. Me and Scott already got Tanner Bruno over the line. I don't think that's going to work with Tom Silvani. I don't know. No, I don't think that will. But we'll see. He's appealed his conviction, so we'll see. Maybe me and Scott can do a show on that. But anyway, if Scott's still watching, how big is the hole, mate? I'm digging. If any footballer has done any crimes recently and they want to get off that, well, you call me and Scott, we'll talk about it, and we'll get you off like we did with Tanner Bruno. Anyway, thank you so much, Silvani Scum. I'll comment that. Yeah, definitely not good. He's appealing. I don't have a problem with him appealing. If he wants to use his own money, that's his problem. And waste everybody's time. When taxpayers' money goes into those kind of situations, that's what I have a problem with, to be honest. But I don't think that's the case this time. I think he's using his own money. Typical St Kilda behaviour from Silvani. Yeah, typical St Kilda. Yeah, I don't think we can get him off, Scott. I don't think we can do that. So good luck to Tommy's conviction, but we can't help you, mate. On that note, the hole is really big now that I'm digging myself into. Thank you for watching 2026 ladder prediction. Thank you to Scott, Jezelenko, Footy Burner, Facture Opinion. Thank you for all the comments. I really do appreciate it. And Scott, please do some co-hosting for me if you can. That'd be nice. Send me a message. But anyway, thank you, and goodbye for now.